I'm Beth from Telling Yarns. This is episode 5 of the Telling Yarns podcast. It's a podcast about knitting and about the yarn that we produce and everything to do with knitting and a bit of other things sprinkled in here and there. So I've been quite busy dyeing up the newest series of the Hogwarts Fade collections that we've been doing. So we've already released the Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets, and I've been designing and dyeing the third series based on the illustrated book of The Prisoner of Azkaban, illustrated by Jim Kay. So I have mentioned this before, but I've been working on the photos from that and the key points from the story. So I might start with that. The first colourway in the series is the night bus itself from the front cover. So there it is there. It released, I was planning to release these all in September, all in one go. But I've released the night bus and the second colourway, which I'll show you in a second, early because I wanted to knit the Misurina tee. Don't know whether I'm pronouncing that right, by Boyland Knitworks from Caitlin Hunter, from her Caitlin's Knitaly series. And I wanted to knit that in this colourway with Hogwarts Grounds, which is the second colourway from the series, because I wanted something quite mottled in colour that would blend, because there's colour work, and whilst I wanted the colour work to show, I didn't want it to be too prominent as I've done in other things. I wanted it to be more blended because there's lace in the pattern, and there's cables, and there's the colour work, and there's a sort of an eyelet detail on the rest of the body, and I just wanted something really mellow and relaxed to suit that particular pattern. So I'm knitting it in these two. The night bus is it's coming up slightly, well, it does have those tones of sort of red, like the deep sort of red burgundy in there. It does have those tones, but it's also got a deeper, sharper purple violet with the more of the blue tone, like you can see here. There are bits in there in this which match that, and it's coming up slightly warmer, I think. It's got some of the more bluey bits. It's got the gold and orange from the windows, and they are speckled throughout and come through. The orange in particular comes through really nicely as a deep, rich, warm red. So I've really been enjoying seeing that come through. Hogwarts Grounds is based on the Scottish Highlands. Think the surrounding area to Hogwarts. So it's got the purple, sort of soft mauvey lilac of heather. It's got the mossy, deep, what would you call those? Like the deep burnt gold sort of colours of moss, as well as the deep greens, and then it's got some more of the evergreeny type colours of the forest and the Great Lake. So it's a real mix, and that is based on one of the really beautiful pictures in the book. Yeah, so I'm hoping you can get the colours okay on that. So it's got soft purple mountains and the warm yellowy greens through to the darker shades. And I have been knitting that, one of my works in progress. I'm going to go a bit sort of back and forth today, not too much structure because of the different colourways. So this is my Misurina tee. Annoyingly, I've just put it onto slightly smaller cable, which isn't going to make it as easy to show off. So hopefully you can see it starting to take shape. I did actually block it. I had a bit of a needle error. I was waiting for my Chowgoo needles, which have arrived at last, to arrive, and I was using my Knit Pros, and I don't know whether anybody else has knit pros and has noticed this, but all the numbers of what size the needle is just rub off once you've knitted one garment with them. So I had no idea, and they were coming up wrong in my needle gauge because it was a wooden one, and I think the sizing around the 3.25, sort of set in US, I think probably, is it 4, around that? Anyway, they were coming up, I couldn't work out what needles I was on, and I should have been on a 3.5. Turns out I was on a 3.25, and my swatch that I'd done, not in this colourway but in this yarn, was on the 3.5, so I thought I was getting gauge, but I was using completely different needles. So I've just actually switched on, I blocked it so I could check the gauge, and my gauge is, I've got too many stitches, so I think it's supposed to be 20 stitches per 10 centimetres, and I've got 24, I think it was. So I've decided just to go with it, to jump onto the 3.5 needles, and because I was knitting really loosely on the 3.25 ones, because of all the, can you see all the lace detail, and then there's these stripes of cabling plus the colour work, and I was going really loose so that it would all blend nicely. You can see that the stitching where it's just stocking stitch is quite sheer, where I can see me through it a little bit, so it's quite sheer, it's quite a loose knit. So I'm hoping that should hopefully all come together, because I think when I block it, when it's finished, I'll be able to stretch it out a lot more, whereas it was on the hoop, on the cable, so there was a limit to how much I could actually stretch it out. So I think I can probably just reach gauge, but I thought I'd just swap to the 3.5 and loosen it off, because I'm about here at the moment, so the main body shaping bit where I want it to be looser and not hang too tight, I haven't done yet, so I'm gonna go with that. So that's the no, they've got in a pickle because I got them in my bag with about 100 other whips. So that's Hogwarts Grounds. It's got the shades of violet from the Night Bus. That's the Night Bus. The only thing I'd say, so this is why I chose these colourways to do this in, because I wanted something really subtle. But if you see there, sometimes you actually get a point where the Hogwarts Grounds has the mauvey lilac in it, the purple, at the same time that you're doing the colour work with the Night Bus, and the Night Bus has a really light bit, and you end up kind of losing some of the definition of the colour work. That's actually what I wanted. I wanted it to be really mottled and like that. So for me, that's perfect, but just be aware if you're looking at these colourways that is something that happens every now and again. You can always, you know, loop a bit behind and just sew in the ends. It's such a pretty pattern though. Yeah, the only one bit I'm not enjoying on it is you do a colour work block, like here, then you do a purl, then the cable row, and then a purl. And for some reason, I'm just not getting on with the purl. I don't know why, it just throws me off. When you're doing colour work, you can just switch back. The cables I really enjoy. I think cables are great fun. But the purl in it just feels like it jars me, it doesn't flow. But anyway, so that's on my Chaogu needles now, which is great. I'm so pleased they came. So that leads me into quickly talking about the fact that I ordered the Chaogu needles set from Amazon, and it was coming all the way from the US, and I got a notification like 2 months ago that it had been shipped and it was on the way over to the UK, and then it didn't arrive and they changed the date, and then I queried it, and then in the end Amazon just said, you know, the package has been lost and it's never turned up. So they were great, they gave me a refund, but I should have gone to my LYS, you know, or one of the dyers that I know and I work with for things like the virtual Yorkshire Yarn Fest and things like that. So I ended up going to Sophie at Botanical Yarn and getting it from her. And yes, it was slightly more expensive than getting it from Amazon, but one, it arrived, And two, it's great to think that you're putting your money into your local providers, and not, I've got my Knit Pro needles in there as well, by the way. There's the cables, and not just sending it off to Amazon. So I don't know why I didn't just do that in the first place. And my advice would definitely be, if you're thinking about upgrading to the Chalgu needles, don't order through Amazon, because I've heard similar stories from other people. And go to your local yarn store. I know Loop London, who I visit when I'm after work sometimes, they sell them as well, and they sell them online. And I know Sophie at Botanical Yarn sells them. So I've got the minis as well, which are ideal for socks. You get the short, let's do the biggest one. You get the short one, and you get the longer one, like that. Oh, can you see that? So got those there. So that's the minis there. So I'm really pleased with those, and I have thrown all of my projects straight onto them. I think I have. Yeah, no, I've got one I think that isn't yet moved over because I haven't knit on it since. All of my projects at the moment are in this bag. I don't really have any project bags, but I got this from Sophie at Botanical Yarn. I absolutely love it. I'm really pleased with it. It's got some really nice pockets inside to store, and it's got loads and loads of space, so I've got loads of stuff in there. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, just to jump back to the Hogwarts series, sorry, I did warn you this was going to leap around a little bit. So we had, these are the minis, Night Bus, Hogwarts Grounds, and then it goes to the Marauders map, which I showed on the Yorkshire Yarn Fest. Is the base colourway for the whole series. Very soft, very gentle. It's got sort of shades of very, very light blue and really soft sort of brown parchment. So that is based on, of course, the Marauders map. So yeah, that's all those sort of colours. And then it goes into, this one is not actually going to be in the mini. Oh yes, no, this one is in the mini series. This is Parvati and the Boggart. I know it's a long name. So it's got this really deep sort of yellowy green, almost chartreuse colour. And then it's got hints of purple with, I hope you can see, speckles all through of blue and red, but really subtle in there. And that is based on this picture here. So it's got little bits of the purple. I'm trying not to get the glare from the window. And then it goes into, after that one, Buckbeak. So this one is the one that I'm not including in the mini fade series, because that'll be a 5 skein series. This one will be a full skein colourway, but not a mini skein colourway. It's got loads of speckles of sort of deep dark mossy colours, and a background of a light blue and a soft yellowy brown kind of colour, creamy brown. And that is Buckbeak for, of course, the hippogriff Buckbeak. Just if I'm holding it in the right place. So it's got the yellow of the beak with the soft blues and greys and browns of the feathers. And then the final colourway, which will be in the mini series, is Expecto Patronum. And that's predominantly in this quite bright but not vibrant, sort of still quite soft but bright blue, with the undertones of yellow and the speckling of purple. I've got the same colours repeated throughout, so I'll hold those all up for you. I realised when I did this before it wasn't very easy to see, so I will hold them differently this time. Sorry, it's so hot in here. I'm probably going bright red. So that's the new Hogwarts series. And as I say, the Buckbeak colourway won't be in the mini Fade series, but it will be in the full-size skeins. And I've already got quite a few people on the yarn club for that. The yarn club, oh sorry, Expecto Patronum, I'll just show you the picture for that. So it's this with all the blues and then just hints of yellow and violet and a tiny hint of turquoise. So that's the whole of the Prisoner of Azkaban series, Hogwarts Series 3. And the yarn clubs, so we do yarn clubs for all 3 of the Hogwarts series at the moment, and we will do them for any future series as well that we do like that. You can do it in either a 3-month or a 6-month time scale. You sign up, pay the first month, and it sets up an auto subscribe on the website, which you can cancel at any time, and then you just wouldn't receive the later yarns from when you cancelled. Just let me know if you're going to do that, and I'll make sure we sort it all out so you've had everything that you've paid for. So we've got quite a few people on those. You can go on there, you can literally choose choose the 6-month one, for example. Most people seem to do the 6-month one because you get the whole series then, and you'll get the first colourway in the series. So for the Prisoner of Azkaban, you get the Night Bus on your chosen base, and that comes straight out to you when you sign up. You get a yarn club membership number, and that allows you to get a discount on any of the matching series, so any of the Hogwarts series sets, whether that be the mini sets or the larger sets or the advents, because that's based on Hogwarts Series 4, which is coming out as part of the advent. So it's a really cost-effective way of doing it because you don't pay postage when you're a yarn club member. So it's £19, for example, for the Meadow Merino Singles base. You get, for £19, which is how much we sell these for on their own, you get this sent out to you with no postage, and you then get the discounts as well. You don't pay postage on any other orders you make during the time while your yarn club membership is live. And then on the anniversary, the monthly anniversary of when you signed up, we'll send you the next colourway, all on the same base. So yeah, they seem to be really popular and they're going down well, so that's great. Right, so that's the Hogwarts Series 3. Just check whether I've got anything else in that. No, I haven't. So should we go in order? Hogwarts Series 2, I've been dyeing up more of the Meadow Merino Singles for this, because I've got a few projects that I'm working on. So this is Arthur, you might have seen it before. Soft browns. The whole series has a background of kind of corals, soft, dusky, duck egg blues, and goldeny colours. That's Ginny there, the burrow here. And then this isn't the whole series, this is just a few of them already tagged up as Ford Anglia Adventure. I love the speckles on that, look at that. And when you knit with it, these speckles are so enjoyable to knit with. So we've got, I'll show you the bits I'm knitting with this series at the moment. So firstly, I've finally cast on my What the Fade shawl now that my needles are here, because I just wanted something, I wanted them to be a bit sort of sharper and easier to catch the brioche stitch, because it's not a difficult pattern once you get going at all, but I just find it's easier on the sturdier, sharper needles. They're not sharp, they're still got a blunt end, but they're sharper, a lot sharper than my wooden Knit Pro ones. So I've started mine in my colour A from What the Fade by Andrea Mowry, or Drea Renee Knits. My colour A is Slytherin's Air, which is one end of our Chamber of Secrets fade, because it's got a dark colour at either end, and then the lighter colours are in the middle of the fade. So that's Slytherin's Air, and that's got the odd shot every now and again of really bright magenta, which is it's really nice when it comes up in the knitting, they look beautiful. And then my colour D, which is the contrast colour, is the Burrow, which is the base colourway for the whole series, the Chamber of Secrets. The speckles on there, it's very soft, It's based on the front cover. Actually, the whole series for the Chamber of Secrets series is based on the front cover of the book, which I've shown before. So it's got these, you know, the soft corally peaches, the duck egg blue, and then the greens. And the Ford Anglia Adventure is more of this sort of bluey turquoise colour. So I have a confession there. I've realised, so I got this far, then I realised I had done the increases slightly in the wrong place, because you have an increase that runs up the centre, which is like you increase from 1 stitch, you end up with 5, and then you have an increase on either side that runs up the side, which you increase from 1 stitch to 3 on either side. So you get this a rib, centre rib and 2 side ribs with the really beautiful I-cord binder off. I'll just move my hair away. I need to stare at my face so I don't look at that. But I've realised if you look closely here, there's a row that's the wrong way around. Can you see? So I got this far and I ripped it back because I had gone wonky on the central one. Then it's all gone fine with the central one because I threw a couple of stitch markers in just until I could see the pattern forming. But I can see there's a line there that's wrong. So as I'm so close to the beginning, I'm going to just rip it back again and just do that again. I'll tell you what, if I bend it on the needle where the straight bit is, you can see it a lot better there. So one side is the burrow showing through that really light colourway, and then the other side, the knit stitches, the rows, are the Slytherin's Air colourway. So I'm going to rip that back. That's going to be with the full, it calls for 6 colourways, which is how large the series is. It's 6 for the whole pattern. And you're always doing these in the brioche, you're doing these 2 colour brioche with 1 fade. So it's going to be, one side is going to fade from the burrow to Ginny to Arthur. The other side is going to fade, sorry, I'll just pop those down and grab the other colourways from Slytherin's Air, the dark green, to Ford Anglia Adventure, it's got more of the turquoisey blue, to Dawn Escape, which is the burrow with speckles of magenta and a bit more of that bluey Ford Anglia colour. So we're doing What the Fade for our Advent. We've got 3 Advents running this year. One of them is the What the Fade by Drea Renee Knits. It's the largest one, so you can do it either, because there's 12 colourways in the whole of the Advent, you can either do 6 full skeins with 6 mini skeins. So the mini skeins would be for something else, but you still get all the colourways and you can play around with them. But the fade for your What the Fade is chosen for you by us because of the nature of getting the full skeins, the 6 full skeins. So you can either do that, or you can get 12 full skeins, and that will give you the option. The colourways that we're designing, I've already designed them, I'm just starting to dye them up for the Goblet of Fire, which is what they're all based on. It's going to be the 4th series in the Hogwarts series. It's going to go sort of a fade of 6 through with 2 colourways in the middle that are going to be the main colours, and then another fade of 6. So it would give you the option. You can mix and match however you wanted if you did the larger one, but you could also, you'd have 2 definite fades that you could use if you wanted to. But the whole series will flow as well. One side of it will be a slightly brighter side, and one side will be slightly less, slightly paler and less vibrant. So you'd have the option of the 2. So I'm going to knit up the What the Fade so you can see how great the shawl is. Also you can see how nice it's going to look, I hope, from the swatches I've done, how nice it's going to look with our dyeing technique of doing the sort of double or triple dye that we do in the Hogwarts series dyes. Yeah, so that's one of them. The second Advent we're doing is the Time Trade shawl by Boyland Knitworks again, another one of their ones. And I have already knitted up. I'll stand up here so you can see it a bit better. I've already knit this up, and I showed it previously as a work in progress. It's all finished now. Excuse me. It's got the it's a 5-colour mini fade set at the beginning, which is those, and I've done this example one also for me to have in our Philosopher's Stone mini fade. So it's the invisibility cloak, nearly headless Nick, the sorting hat, Gryffindor, Hogwarts Express, and then my main colours are the invisibility cloak, again coming back in, and Gryffindor, which I think looks really nice at the end here where you've got the full waves going. So that is what we're doing for the second one, which so far has been the most popular one. We've got lots of people on that, and I think we've only got maybe 5 spaces left on it. I'm going to put this on for 2 seconds because I may probably melt if I had it on for any longer than that, because it's so hot. It's like 33 degrees in here, if not hotter. So yeah, that's that one. So with this one, it's just one option. It has the 2 main colourways, and then it has 10 minis, so you can choose your 5 minis out of those 10 minis, and then you've got the 2 main colourways. Excuse me, I've been talking too long. I have to finish up in a minute, so I stop getting a dry throat. So that's the second one. The third one is the Sprocket Socks by Pip and Pin, one of my all-time favourite designers. And I am going to be knitting those up, I think, probably in these, which is the Prisoner of Azkaban series. So I'll be casting those on, you know, maybe next week or something. One other project I've got going on at the moment, I did have these in here as well if you want to see them. So that's the invisibility cloak. I've got all of that left from the 100-gram skein from the time trade shawl. So I was thinking maybe I'll make a hat for my sister or something like that. And I've got quite a lot left from the Gryffindor as well. So the last work in progress I have, which is probably going to be a little bit on the back burner, I'm really enjoying knitting it. I love the pattern by Pip and Pin, Megan Nodecker, but it's one that I'm just doing for me. It's not relevant to anything for Advent or anything like that. So this is the Maymud cardigan. You can see I'm not very far in. So it's a beautiful mix of honeycomb brioche here, which makes up the whole of the back panel, and then stocking stitch for the sleeves, and the sleeves are quite wide and baggy, and then honeycomb brioche on the front again on either side, and that's just an open front cardigan. I think I'm going to do mine quite long because it is all knit in one colourway for the pattern, but I am doing it with the full fade, I think, from the Chamber of Secrets. So that's just a little project that I'm working on. Yeah, so I think that is everything. We're going to be stopping the instalment option on the Advents at the end of the month because the Advents ship in November and the instalment options are over 3 months. So if you want to do the Advent and you want to do the instalment options, then you'd be worth jumping on before the end of August to do that. There is a discount on the Time Trades Advent available at the moment, 10% off until August 16th. So just go on there and it's automatically applied. Yeah, and that is everything. I will hopefully come back to you soon with some more finished off projects and less works in progress maybe. And then we are on the virtual Yorkshire Yarn Fest at the end of October on Halloween. So I might do a little Halloween colourway or bonfire night, something like that. So anyway, I hope you're all keeping well and not sweltering too much in the heat. And I will catch up with you again soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.